Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new review, and today we're going to be reviewing Saw V, also known as Saw 5, 2008. For those of you who don't know, Saw 5, also known as Saw V, is the fifth installment in the Saw series. It's less brutal than its predecessors, but it still has plenty of gore and torture, just like the rest. Most of them, anyway. Most of the Saw movies have torture, not all of them, though. I mean, they all have torture, but some of them are like it's more implied and like non-graphic, like in the first Saw and Jigsaw, and in Saw 2, not as much either. But this one, I honestly have to say, frankly, I was disappointed. This is one of my least favorite of the series. Maybe I'd give it like a 3 or 3.5 at most. Maybe a 4, I don't know. But it wasn't that good, at least compared to other ones like Saw 4, which I reviewed last time. If you haven't seen my review on Saw 4, I can suggest you check that one out, because you need to kind of watch these reviews in order, because it's kind of the story gets complicated. Because you need to also you have to watch the Saw series if you haven't seen them yet. I strongly suggest you do, because I love the Saw series. But I suggest you watch them in order, because watching them out of order would be really confusing. Because there's like certain plot lines that don't really make sense unless if you've watched them from 1 to 10 in order. Anyway, let's get started with my synopsis. Convicted murderer Seth Baxter wakes up chained to a table beneath a pendulum blade. He is told that he can release himself by crushing his hands between two presses. He does so, but the blade still bisects him as someone watches them through a hole in the wall. This kill is pretty brutal. It's definitely one of the most brutal traps, because he literally got like cut in half, and then his entrails are spilling all over the place. He's coughing up all that blood. It's very gory, very brutal scene. And as you know, Seth Baxter is a murderer, so that's why Jigsaw targeted him. And his last words were, "I did what I was supposed to do." Those were his last words. If you guys want to watch Saw 5 in its entirety, I suggest you buy the unrated version with bonus material stitched, because it's on Prime Video and it shows you sorry, it shows you the behind the scenes on the traps. But I think that version might only be on Prime Video, but make sure you get the unrated version, because that's more gore. The unrated version is the way to go. Convict him, unless if you don't like gore, then just stick with the R-rated. But if you don't like horror movies at all, then I would suggest Saw 5, because Saw 5 is brutal. Not as brutal as some of the other movies like Saw 4 and Saw 6, but there's plenty of gore. Anyway, FBI agent Peter Strom escapes the room he was locked in by Detective Hoffman. This scene was crazy, because he was like placed in like he couldn't move, and his head was like in a box, a box full of water, and then it like started filling up, and it starts filling up, and he wouldn't drown. But then he had the smart idea, because he had a pen in his pocket, his coat pocket, and so he gave himself the clever idea of giving himself a tracheotomy by jabbing himself in the neck with a pen, allowing him to breathe. So I thought that was pretty clever. Outside, Hoffman delivers Corbett, the kidnapped daughter of Jeff, to the police, and they claim that they're only survivors. Strom, as you know, survived the trap by the tracheotomy, and he's brought out alive as well, much to Hoffman's shock. Hoffman is promoted and credited with closing the Jigsaw case. Hoffman later finds a note in his office reading, "I know who you are," and learns of Agent Lindsay Perez's death. But Lindsay Perez died? I thought she didn't die until Saw 6. Okay, that's weird. While taking Strom's cell phone from the police evidence room at the hospital. Oh, and if you don't remember, Lindsay Perez got stabbed in the face by Billy the Puppet's face exploding on her, and the shards like hit her right in the face. So I didn't know she. No, that can't be right because I'm reading it off Wikipedia, but it's saying that she died. But she was alive at least until Saw 6, so I don't know why it's saying she died. But I don't know. And I watched Saw 6, so I don't know. Um. While taking Strom's cell phone from the police evidence room at the hospital, Strom tells Hoffman that Perez's last words were Detective Hoffman and questions how he escaped the plant. After being put on medical leave by his boss, Agent Dan Erickson, Strom, suspicious of Hoffman, decides to uncover his involvement with Jigsaw and takes cases files of past Jigsaw victims to research them. In an underground sewer, Ashley, Britt, Charles, Luba, and Malik awaken with collars locked around their necks, connected by cables to a set of blades mounted on the wall behind them. The keys to the collars are in individual glass boxes across the room. A videotape from Billy informs them that they are all connected and that they must do the opposite of their instincts if they all are to survive the tests ahead of them. Ashley fails to retrieve the key and gets decapitated by the razor blade. In a kill that had seriously bad CGI. It was so bad, man. The CGI or special effects, whatever it was really bad in this scene. In the second room, which is filled with explosives on a timer, Charles first attacks Malik and then Luba, but she, Britt, and Malik each retrieve keys to bomb shelters and set in the walls. Charles is left to die when the timer expires and the explosives detonate by the nail bombs, and he's blown up. But even though it was like not gory, it did have some pretty, like the kill itself wasn't gory, but it had some pretty good gore aftermath. I mean, of his guts or entrails on the floor and some blood. But the kill was mostly off screen. It's just the aftermath that was kind of brutal. Strom learns that Hoffman killed Seth Baxter, who had killed Hoffman's sister years prior. John Kramer abducted Hoffman after the fact and blackmailed him into helping him set up his future games. In the third room, Britt kills Liva before she and Malik put her corpse in a bathtub and connect it to 5 cables to complete an electric circuit that unlocks the next door. John's ex-wife, Jill Tuck, claims Strom is stalking her. Strom concludes that everyone was meant to die at the plant except for Corbett and Hoffman. After Hoffman tells Erickson about Strom's theory of a second Jigsaw accomplice, Erickson tries to call him. Hoffman answers on Strom's phone and hangs up. Erickson has one of his agents track the phone signal. In the final room, Malik and Britt find a machine fitted with 5 saws and a beaker requiring 10 pints of blood to open the final door. They realize all prior tests could have been completed without casualties if they had worked together and figure out their connection. They were all involved in a building fire that killed 8 people. Malik and Britt conceded a truce and each sliced an arm in the saws to provide the blood needed to open the final door. This scene was pretty brutal. I mean, no one died, but it was pretty gory stuff. And like you later see Malik's split in half arm. It was gory, and it was very gory. Following the signal to the sewer observation room, Erickson finds the phone and his own personal file, both planted by Hoffman. He also still finds the still living Britt and Malik and calls for medical attention before putting an all points bulletin on Strom, convinced that he is Jigsaw's successor. Meanwhile, Strom follows Hoffman to the renovated nerve gas house and finds a tape in a room with a box filled with broken glass. The tape is a message from Hoffman urging Strom to enter the box, but Strom stops it short and ambushes Hoffman, whom he seals in the box. Strom believes he has finally caught Hoffman, but the door to the room suddenly shuts itself, and the walls begin to close in as the box is lowered beneath the floor. Strom finishes playing the tape, which warns him that if he does not enter the box, he will die and be framed as Jigsaw's apprentice. Safe inside the box, Hoffman watches as Strom unsuccessfully tries to escape the room and is crushed to death. He's basically like sandwiched in between the walls. His arm breaks. It's super gory stuff. But you know, it was kind of his own fault because I mean, he would have lived if he had just gotten in the glass box, but he he made a smart decision in the beginning of Saw 5 with the tracheotomy, but he made a stupid decision at the end of Saw 5 by not going into the glass box, because he would have lived if he had done that, but he did. So yeah, and honestly, even though Saw 5 is one of my least favorite of the series, it's not my least favorite, but it's definitely one of the worst. I mean, it's alright, but uh, it definitely was less good than others like Saw 1, Saw 4, other ones like that, and Saw 6. But yeah, so yeah, but even though this movie is not my favorite, it has one of the best twist endings in this. Sorry, it has one of the best twist endings in the whole series, and therefore has one of my favorite endings. Sorry, I'm hiccuping. It has one of my favorite Saw themes and Saw endings. So even though it's one of my least favorite Saws, it still has like a really good twist ending, and it's like one of my favorite endings of one of the best endings in all of the Saw movies. But yeah, so I'd give Saw 5 maybe like a 3.5, maybe a 4 out of 5. It wasn't that good, but maybe a 2.5. I don't know. It kind of depends. Uh, what it how I feel about it sometimes. But I'll just say like a 3 out of 5, or maybe like a 3.5, because it wasn't great. It was okay, but Saw 6 was definitely an improvement. That one was also okay. But yeah, Saw 5, if you haven't watched it, I recommend it. I mean, it's alright, but it's not a bad movie. It's cool. It's still a cool movie. It has cool traps, and um, you might find like the ending is a must watch uh, twist. You like you should definitely check out Saw 5, even if you're just watching it for its ending. Like the ending makes it all worth it, because the ending is one of the greatest in all the Saw movies, in my opinion. Um, the twist ending. Um, but yeah, Saw 5, not great, but it was alright. And I definitely like Saw 4 better. Saw 4 was one of my favorites of the series. Um, but yeah, I would say it's marginally better than Saw 2 and Saw 3. Not by a lot, but by a little. Like Saw 2 and Saw 3 were also okay. Um, but it wasn't as good as Saw 1 for sure, and it wasn't good as Saw 4. I'd say it wasn't as good as Saw 6 either. And but it was definitely better than Saw 3D, which is one of the worst of the series. But I think my least favorite so far in the Saw series, I know they might make it more, because they probably won't ever stop making these Saw movies. We got one like, what was it, like 2 years ago? I mean, they're probably not going to stop making the Saw movies. I think another one's in development, but it might have been canceled. I don't know. So I definitely say it's better than Saw 3D. But I'd say my least favorite Saw out of all of them is not Saw. Well, I'd say it's either Saw 3D or Jigsaw. This one is like kind of in the middle of all the Saw movies. But yeah, this has been my review on Saw 5, aka Saw V 2008. And I'll see you guys next time for my review on Saw VI. Goodbye.